Are you sick of stagnant wages and desperate for a pay rise?
Last time I got a pay rise? Ooh, I don't think that's ever happened before.
I'd be happy with a good 5% or 10%. I'm not asking for much.
Being broke is kind of hard.
My boss might disagree.
Well, how's this for a life hack? Just become a CEO.
Stop being poor. Stop being poor.
New figures showing CEOs scored an average pay rise of 15% over the past year. Managing directors a generous 14%. That's around twice the rate of inflation.
Comparatively, only 3% of the average salaries of employees have gone up by that same double digit.
Oh, and did I mention around half are also eligible for performance bonuses, averaging as much as 89% of their $1.1 to $1.6 million salaries.
That's a lot.
For a lot of people, it would be a bit disheartening when, the rich are getting richer.
Our whole system's inequitable.
Stop being poor.
But what about the inflation crisis, I hear you ask? Well, businesses are worried.
This does increase the risk that this will feed back into inflation.
Just not about the CEOs, because those comments were actually the inflation warnings that sounded after our lowest paid workers were awarded a 5.75% rise earlier this month.
We did warn against the threat of a wages prices spiral.
You've got to make sure the higher inflation doesn't translate into higher wage outcomes for everybody.
A move labelled excessive by some, despite being just a third of the big boss's 15% bump.
It really struggles to pass the pub test. I think it is important to take into context, though, it is our top listed ASX companies. Those CEOs, they're in charge of, on average, 35,000 employees, somewhere in the vicinity of $70 billion of shareholder capitalisation.
Someone's got to be a CEO. Can't just be any old dickhead off the street, can it? No, it can actually. It definitely could.
Businesses insisting the rise has been a long time coming.
During the COVID years, we saw a much more subdued growth in CEO salaries. In fact, a number of CEOs took no increases at all. So there's a little bit of catch-up.
An explanation that's sure to see struggling Aussies around the country break out the tiny violins.
Oh, these poor CEOs.
That's rubbish.
I could not care less. About them, really. Probably feel more sorry for all the people that lost their jobs during COVID.
We should really start a collection team for the CEOs.
A GoFundMe.
Yeah.
I could whip one up straight away.
Here to chat more about this and a whole lot more, it's author and her very own boss, Maria Patel. So did you give yourself a big fat pay rise being the CEO of your own company?
Well, to be fair, I have a really great boss. And I also had really great performance reviews, so it kind of adds up.
Yeah.
It's justified, guys.
But this is outrageous, right? Do you think this passes the pub test? We're all being told to rein it in, tighten the belt, and then the fat cats are getting these huge pay rises.
I think it's just when you look at it within the context of the cost of living crisis and there are people who are struggling to eat, I don't think you can justify it, no. What about the rest of the workforce and everyday Australians?
Twice the rate of inflation.
Yeah.
That's how much it's gone up. And we've heard that it's on the low side for some CEOs. They've had to miss out for the last couple of years. But ultimately, the shareholders of these companies, they vote on the wages.
Well, that's ratify. So that's the interesting bit, right? If this goes to the annual general meeting, and they've got a problem with it, that's when CEOs have a problem.
Yep.
But I guess the bottom line is, as unpalatable as it is, their wages are set by the market and their profits, and our wages are set by them deciding what we're worth. And so they're different mechanisms, and the only mechanism to hold them in check is the shareholders.
Where is that tiny violin again?
Yeah.